Judd Millner will come and say a few things. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm a young man compared to Asher. My stories are only about 45 years old. I grew up in Muizenberg. My mother grew up in Muizenberg. Her parents lived there until they died. My mother's name was Miriam Friedman.
My best friend at school.
No. Well, have you been in touch with Miriam?
Last I heard she was in New Zealand.
She is. She's in New Zealand. She's recovering from a knee operation as we speak. Well, she'd be delighted to hear from you because my mother was determined to carry on living in Muizenberg, and I grew up there. And I could say that the memories that formed me happened in Muizenberg. So I'm not going to take your time. I'm just going to tell you 3 quick little things. First of all, the bathing boxes. We had a bathing box. It was a white bathing box, and it was at Balmoral Beach, not at the Christian Beach, which we used to call. Remember the Christian Beach? Well, you guys, I don't know. Did you call it the Christian Beach?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was the Christian Beach, and then the Snake Pit, which was at the end of the Christian Beach. So we had the white bathing box at the front. There were 2 rows, and the high tide used to come in, and it used to rush in under the bathing box. And of course, as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, I mean, this is an incredibly impressionable experience. But most of them were very brightly painted colours. And I had this memory. I was about 5, and I had a brother who was 2 at the time. And we were at Balmoral Beach, opposite the hotel. There were some steps down to the hotel, sort of a concrete platform thing, and steps down to the beach. And we were down there, and it was late one night. There was no one else on the beach. And he comes walking. Look, look, look! And his hands are bright, bright purple. And of course, I look at this and I go, what? Where'd you get that? I look and I see there's this puddle of paint on the concrete. I just ran for it like a shot. I tell you, I put my hands in it. I hear my mum's voice, no! I've got my hand in this and I'm putting paint all over me, and my brother's putting paint all over him. And anyway, I tell you, that was my first and last bath in Terps. And I bathed in Terps. So that's this memory. So the bathing boxes for me have this colours. They're really great. And my other memory was I lived 2 houses above the shul. So there was the shul, and then there was the McLaughlins, who were an Irish family, and about 8 or 10 of them, and then us. So we were 3 houses. And the thing is that, well, in our basement, I had this friend called Ian Ridley. And Ian wasn't Jewish, but my Boba was from, and Polly.
I remember her.
Polly Friedman. And I remember once I went to her house with Ian, and she refused to let him eat anything in the house. It was like, a non-Jewish friend. Oh, no way. Anyway, Ian and I were, it was a Saturday morning. It was Saturday, and it was a lovely, bright, sunny day. And we discovered these mirror tiles in the basement of the house. They were like a foot square a mirror tile, right? And we had a double-story house, and so we went up to my bedroom, and from the bedroom you could look straight across the McLaughlin's backyard into the back of the shul, and it had these beautiful green stained glass windows. I think they were green on the top floor, and we were shining this mirror into the shul while the service was happening, and having the time of our lives. I don't remember how old we were. And so, anyway, so then we thought, well, okay, we did that for a while, and we could see there's a bit of consternation, behind the window. There was obviously a bit of movement happening, and I think someone came out and walked and looked around for a while, but we wised up and stopped at that point. And we decided we were going to build a periscope. We got bored with that, so we were going to build a periscope with the mirror, but we needed to cut the mirror to size. So I stayed home, and I was building the periscope, and Ian took the mirror and he went down. We walked down Camp Road. You go down to the main road, and you walk down, and there was a hardware store called James Moram, Jimmy Moram's hardware store, and so he went down to Jimmy Moram's hardware store to get the mirror cut in half. On the way back, he meets my Boba coming back from the shul. She sees the mirror and she flips at him. Anyway, he comes back and says, I met your grandmother on the way back. And then, of course, my parents got to hear about it. And You know, my mother got an earful, and my dad, he said to me, well, you know, he said, yes, they probably thought it was God. And that was the end of that one. And my last memory, you get fantastic photographs of the shul. That Musenberg shul comes up very well in a photograph because it was a huge park across the road and you could get right back off it and take these great photos. And I used to spend my life playing in that park. And it was 1976. I was an old child then, of about 11. July. And very somber time because there were hostages being held in Tebby, if you remember. I'm sure you all went through this. And everybody was really quite freaked out by it. And I remember it was Sunday, and we were in the park, and I'm looking across, and my mother running up the pavement, waving a newspaper. The Israelis have rescued the hostages! So this memory of my mother running up outside the shul. And Musenberg for me, of course, it's life. It was my life and my childhood, and it was so rich. So much happened there. But I'm pleased to see that obviously word got out, and the design of this shul has been carefully put together, and no kid's going to get a beam of light through any of these. But on that note, Ellie, thank you very much. Thank you very much.